broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me riding dirty.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome in to Courtney and Khloé Take the Hamptons after show right here on AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Bobby DeMuro. That's Sterling Cates. Francesca is out tonight. Her dog is sick. We wish her well. Poor little Lulu. She'll be back next week as usual. We've got something fun for you guys this week. I'm tweeting out the link right now. If you're watching this live streaming on YouTube already, you don't need it. If you're not, follow me on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro or her at Sterling Cates. We'll tell you how to do that. The link is you can watch us live. You can comment live on YouTube. Our engineer, Stephen Lemieux, is in the booth. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, guys.
Stephen kind of sounds like Scott Disick, too. So,
Scott, you back there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
There he is.
So Steven's going to be reading live comments off YouTube.
And I'm on Twitter.
And Sterling is on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter right now, you can always tweet us, but use the hashtag ABTVKKTH, all one amalgamation of letters.
Well, LOL what?
ABTVKKTH. Sterling is going to read out tweets on the hashtag live as we go through the after show tonight. Starting something new, live streaming. We're going to see how it goes. You guys do such a good job with commenting and stuff. We figured we go live. Why not?
Let's do it.
So let's jump in. This is Riding Dirty, if you didn't catch it by the song and Sterling's wonderful voice.
I've been working on it.
This episode's called Riding Dirty. We got a lot to talk about today, including that whole live streaming deal. So let's jump in, and as you guys send us tweets and YouTube comments, we're going to interject them in the show. So if you have something to say, if you love Sterling, if you hate me, if you react to Courtney or Khloé, bring it on during the show. Sterling, let's start. Let's get going with Khloé and this horseback riding thing. First off, Khloé looks just wonderful on the horse.
I'm sure you love that.
Just great form.
I know Bobby's going to bring something up about the rear view.
It's about the form. She's got good form. She's got great posture. It has nothing to do with the fact that Scott said she rides a horse like you ride a man. That's inconsequential.
It was pretty interesting that Scott brought up the fact that she was riding a horse like she'd ride a man.
I think
He's not helping my argument here.
Yeah, no, he's
Bobby.
not. He's totally on mine. But here's the thing you have to understand about men, Sterling. I'm going to give you a little lesson.
Oh, please tell me.
Unless it's your like blood relative. Like you have a brother, so it'd be nothing weird with your brother and you. But if it's not a blood relative, it's always sexual. If I saw you riding a horse as my totally platonic friend, if I saw you riding a horse, it would still be sexual. Like that's how we're wired. We can't help it.
I want to talk about how annoying
you just
it
walk
is.
right by
I don't want to talk about it. I don't even want to think about it. I do want to talk about how annoying Courtney is, though. With why does she care so much whether or not Khloé keeps riding horse? Like that just I don't get that.
Courtney is a hater. Do you know what I think it might be? Actually, not only is it probably producer prodded to create conflict and whatever, but I think Courtney being pregnant again and again and again, as much as she loves raising kids, having a family, doing all the mom stuff, I think she's also maybe consciously or subconsciously worried that she gets left out of stuff like this. She can't ride a horse because she's pregnant. And I don't know if she physically can't right now or if it's bad for the... I don't know about that. But she's not involved with that sort of stuff. So when she sees Khloé do it and then she sees Scott get involved, her first defense is not that Scott's going to leave her for Khloé. That's not going to happen. But she just feels left out. And so it's natural to kind of say, oh, that's not good. I'm left out. Screw that. Don't do that, guys. It's no good.
Well, we also saw her fail last week big time with the sailing. So maybe she just wants to see Khloé fail at something too.
I did forget about that, but Khloé didn't fail.
Well, we don't know if she keeps horseback riding or not.
Well, I mean, it's the ironic thing to me is Khloé was talking about how expensive of a hobby it is, and it is very expensive, but this is the kind of family that would do well with it. Scott rented out the entire barn for an afternoon, for God's sake.
What? I rented out the barn today. And then she was just thinking of whether or not she wanted to go. If that were me, and we rented out this whole barn, there'd be no question.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, it's just for the experience. Why not?
That's crazy. Do you think also that Courtney, I just don't get the part where she brings up the bet in front of Khloé and Scott about how he's so involved in this whole thing. I mean, again and again, she's just so bitchy and just that's so unnecessary to bring that up, and it's obviously going to hurt Khloe's feelings.
I'll tell you why she brings it up, because Courtney plays dirty. Scott mentioned that earlier when Courtney bought out the facts, the horseback riding facts, traumatic brain injuries and stuff, which is totally not cool. But when Courtney brought out those facts, Scott was like, oh, she's playing dirty, she's coming to win, whatever. Well, Courtney realized she couldn't win because Scott not only bought Khloe all the equipment, he actually went with her too, which is like the champ move to just really make her stay with horseback riding. So Courtney said, if I can't win, you can't win either.
Right, exactly.
And I'm gonna lay out the bet.
Make her mad at everyone.
Yeah, which is totally not good vibes only.
Do you think it was right of Khloe to be more mad at Scott than she was with Courtney, it seemed?
I would say Khloe should have been more mad at Courtney.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Courtney's part in the bet in the competition was always negative. The negative facts, the negative bringing up the bet. Sure, maybe Scott had an ulterior motive in the delivery room, but I think when Scott was there at the riding store and riding with her, I think Scott genuinely enjoyed the experience. It was different for him, but it wasn't a chore for him. He liked being there with her.
Right. And the difference is that Scott is there to support whatever the motive is. He's there supporting her. Meanwhile, Courtney's not there. She's not supporting her, and she's just wanting her to fail just so she can win the bet. So there's
Courtney's
a difference between wanting someone to fail and wanting someone to succeed. Just for, I mean, if you're getting something out of it, I'd rather someone succeed.
And I feel like you want people around you. I know Scott's motives were not the most pure, but you want people around you who encourage you to do the things you like to do.
Yeah.
And Khloe was trying to get back into horseback riding, and maybe she's not going to make it a hobby forever. That's fine. But at least Scott was encouraging her to do something enjoyable, theoretically. And Courtney was like, no, don't do this, don't do that. Like, sit around with me, let's be depressed. She didn't actually say that, but that's kind of the attitude.
That's what she was getting.
Yeah, that's kind of the attitude. And it's like, forget that. I don't want to do that.
And that's just a huge difference between Khloe and Courtney, because Khloe is always there for everyone, Scott, Courtney, whoever it is, to support them, especially Scott with when he's in his recovery. She's always there doing whatever new hobby it is he wants to do, supporting him, but she doesn't have any ulterior motives there. So it's just, she's my favorite. She's my spirit Kardashian. If that's a thing, and that's really embarrassing. So
a spirit Kardashian. That's actually a great question. Reminder for folks, if you're just tuning in on the live stream, use the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag ABTVKKTH. We are tracking those tweets right now. Sterling is on her iPhone. She's not texting boys, I promise. She's tracking Twitter. That's a great question to ask Twitter. Hashtag ABTVKKTH. Who is your spirit Kardashian? Sterling, you say it's Khloe.
Yeah.
Mine, I'm going to say mine is probably Bruce. I know he's not like technically a Kardashian, but he and I are the same guy.
He counts.
We want to golf and we want to be left alone, man.
Yeah.
I'm with Bruce. And we don't even have to hang out, him and I. We can be alone from each other.
Right.
I just want to know that bond is real.
And he's probably the only normal-ish person in the entire family.
You're calling me normal. I can deal with that.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to take that back.
Okay, well, there is no normal person in the Kardashian family. Last thing, I guess, on horseback riding with Khloe, the assless chaps. The little thank you gift.
Did not want to see that with Scott.
Really? That didn't turn you on?
No, I was just like, ew.
Do you, now question for you, and I don't mean you personally, but maybe just generally speaking, because I'm curious about this as a woman. Is Scott attractive?
I think Scott's attractive.
Do you know how tall he is? Just
looking.
Curious.
I don't know.
I mean, he's not short. He's not like 5'4".
No, I would say he's probably, because him and Khloe, I would say maybe like 5'11", 6 feet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Maybe taller. I don't know.
I was just curious because Courtney, and I know part of it is the ruse on television that Courtney sort of plays the role of never physically wanting him, and yet they have kids and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, Courtney when Scott was like, hey, do those assless chaps turn you on? And Courtney's like, no, they didn't.
Well, that happened a couple of times this episode whenever they were talking about bets and maybe doing sexual favors, whatever. But she just shut him down every single time. When you're in a relationship, you should spice it up, make it fun. But she's just turning him down left and right.
Although now in her defense, she's pregnant right now.
But still, I feel like that's probably the case when she's not pregnant.
And that's what I'm wondering about is Scott's not an unattractive guy.
Yeah.
I thought the facial hair today looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't grow much facial hair. I'm just jealous.
I was thinking this episode, I'd date Scott. He seems fun. He's understanding, family man. you know.
Except for the whole alcohol
We can get over
abuse.
like the alcohol, drug abuse. He's in recovery.
You say that now. Yeah, we'll see how it goes moving forward. We'll see if you want to deal with it. But I was just curious because Scott really gets the shaft from Courtney in a lot of different ways.
Right.
And he's not a bad-looking guy. He's funny. He's charming. I know charming isn't always good because it obviously hides the deeper, darker Scott underneath. But I'm looking at him on the outside, and I'm like, this dude's, like, pretty okay. Like, you should want to jump his bones now and then.
And he genuinely seems like a great dad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he does
that's
do well with the
attractive,
kids.
too. Yeah.
I think so. You saying
right.
you have a checklist for, like, future
I'm, like,
father?
Good with kids. Funny.
Hey, if you guys are looking for single guys out there, if you're watching this, Sterling is at Sterling Cates on Twitter.
Every single week, you send my Twitter out there into the. I never get
It's
any
public.
bites. No bites.
Well, it's. I think they're afraid of the whole Southern accent, like that whole North Carolina thing. This is L.A., man. You got to come to play in L.A. They're scared of that whole deep South, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that dating advice, Bobby. I really appreciate it.
Hey, lose the accent, you'll find a guy like Scott right away.
No, I can't do that. No guarantees.
All right, let's move on to Kris and Kim. This is kind of the big, at least for us, the big storyline. I think we're going to probably have the most to say about this particular storyline in the episode today, and that is the apartment that Kris and Kim both looked at. Let's just open it up. I am on Team Kim. I know you are too.
God.
Kris was
so
a
annoyed
douchebag
with Kris.
today.
This whole, even the
Let's be
whole
honest.
getting the ice for her back and all of that stuff. Kim was getting the ice, like I just every little thing. She was so naggy. It was very annoying.
Why do you think that was with Kris?
I think it was probably produced to a certain extent.
I think so too. But let's say it wasn't. Let's just say, hey, it wasn't produced.
Or like, why did they do it?
Yeah,
that way?
why?
Why, Sterling? Why? Sorry, Bobby. I don't have all the answers for you.
I'm just
I wish I did.
Because Kris always comes across, not always, but she comes across as so put together, so involved in everything, and she doesn't come across as a bitch,
Right.
You know.
Well, I think they really just wanted to play up the fact that the whole point of this episode is they wanted to get her laid, essentially.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make her seem really tense and really uptight, and that she needed, a little action in her life.
I am shocked that she hasn't yet had any sort of significant gossip magazines or something linking her to boyfriends long term. I know there's been bites, there's been stuff like that.
No, she has a boyfriend. His name's Corey something.
But
he,
I'm saying, like, I'm surprised we haven't really seen him had something on
the show?
Here. Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
I think the boyfriend she has now is relatively recent. He celebrated her birthday with them and stuff. He works for music management or something.
How old is he though?
I think he's older. I want to say he's
40, 60.
I want to say like maybe close to 50.
Okay, because she's
40s, 50s.
Okay, she's a little bit older, but okay.
Should I ask Siri?
Yeah, I can deal with that.
Keep going. I'm gonna Google it.
Okay, that's fine. It's my show now. You're gonna Google that. I think I agree with you. I think Kris definitely needs to get laid, and if she is, that's fine with this new boyfriend or whatever. But Kris has to move on from Bruce, because at the end of Kardashians, the regular Kardashian show, months ago when we finished that season, that was a big storyline that Kris and Bruce still had this weird relationship. They're always going to be close. The bond is the kids. They're always going to have that bond with kids, no matter what they are or are not. They're always going to be in each other's lives because of the family.
Right.
But there is a point where they do need to physically separate, and they have physically separated, but they need to both physically move on and go for it.
I think they're 26 years apart, and she's 59.
Whew. Okay. He's 33.
You do the math.
He's 33
Oh, wow,
then?
he looks older than that. Oh. I don't know. It's hard to say. Anyways, I think there's a large age gap.
Wow. Well, okay. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
That's fine.
When
you know, you know.
When you know, you know. The only problem the thing that's so weird about that is if you're 59 and you want to date a 33-year-old and it matches up in the situation and everything, whatever. Who am I to judge you?
Right.
But when you have all your kids are at or under 33, and your entire life is so intertwined with your kids. It'd be one thing if you saw your kids for just Christmas or something. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but you're always around your kids. You're always around your kids in clubs. You're going to events with them. There's a ton of young people around. And then you're trying to date the 33-year-old. It's not just a physical thing. it's also like you're just
Kinda
trying to
creeps me
relive.
out.
Yeah, you're just trying to relive that. And listen, for the record, it'd be the same thing if it were a male who was 59 and you had a 33-year-old woman. It's the same. It's not a
like your
gender
parents.
thing. It's the same idea.
Well, I'm glad you said that it's not like she's trying to relive her kids, because it goes back to the apartment thing. She's basically wanting to be Kim. She wants to be Kim so bad, it hurts. It really, it's ridiculous. She does everything Kim does. If Kim doesn't do something or passes up something, then she immediately does it.
Why do you think that is?
Because she wants to be Kim.
But why? Why does she want to be Kim? I mean, you could say, yeah, well, who wouldn't want to be Kim? But Kris has her own situation. She had the talk show. She's a successful manager. Why do you still feel the need to be Kim? Is it just straight up insecurity?
I don't know. I guess what Khloe was saying is that they're really competitive, and they've always had. We've seen that in every season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. There's always something that they're competing over. So, I mean, it could go off of that, but it was really shady of her to do this whole apartment thing behind her back.
I'm surprised that Kim wasn't more upset than she was. Which to me, and this is what I don't like about this show, a lot of times, most times the Kardashians do a good job of sort of straddling the fence and not outwardly saying it, but they have tons and tons of money. 99% of the people who watch them have very little money, and nobody has the money that they have. They do a good job of sort of showing a world to say, hey, we have a lot of money, here are the things we do, but we're not totally out of the loop rich people. When something like this happens, they appear to be totally out of the loop rich people.
Right.
This isn't you and I as friends both needing an apartment in LA, only having $750 a month to spend, and you go out from under me and take my apartment and I'm totally out of luck. That's a serious thing. But the comparable situation in this show today, they both have millions of dollars to spend, and it's a joke. It's a game when they take each other's apartment.
And it's not a necessity.
It's not a necessity. And I'm not, hey, they deserve to spend that money. They earned it. I'm not saying anything about that, but this sort of puts them out of touch of reality. Like, oh, you spent the millions, I'm going to spend the millions. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't relate to that.
I want to know who dropped the cash donation, the cash offer or whatever.
I think it was
It's
Kanye.
probably Kanye.
It's
Yeah,
Kanye.
exactly.
For the whole Kardashian family, he bought it, and he's just saying, shut the hell up. Stop doing the show.
He's like,
and just hang
Kim,
it.
that was a surprise. I was getting that for you.
He bought it, and he put it in Northwest's name.
Right.
It's
probably
North,
Northwest
it's
who
North
dropped
real
all that
estate.
cash. Let's be real. She's like, I'll take a nap today. I'll buy an apartment.
Her new friend, Blue Ivy. Are they baby friends? Are they going to be baby friends?
It's hard to say. I just don't want to think Beyonce wants to be friends with Kim Kardashian.
That's why I asked you, because
It's just a completely different level.
You are the AfterBuzz TV resident Beyonce expert.
I know.
So yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I just don't want. I think that's just a different level. I don't want Beyonce and Kim Kardashian to be best friends.
Oh man.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry,
it's cool.
everyone. I'm just a little biased.
That's fine. I know. Sterling loves Beyonce. We know that.
Anyway, still waiting for tweets over here.
I wonder. Let me just sit here and drink my coffee. I do wonder who put in the all cash offer, but it's real estate in New York City, so it could have been literally anybody.
Could have been anybody.
And the whole thing obviously could have been faked anyways. Neither one of them could have ever made an offer, but it's really shady on Kris's part to have done that to Kim. Seeing how much Kim loved it. And I know Kris's argument, you already have an apartment in New York, you have a home in LA that you have to remember to finish building. I understand the argument, but Kris saw how much Kim enjoyed that place. It would be like if you and I went to adopt a puppy.
Yeah,
and you saw how much I enjoyed. Yeah, exactly. It's in a different
I'd never
way.
Forgive you.
It's the same kind of idea. When you see somebody who legitimately enjoys something as much as Kim did, don't crap on them and come out from underneath them. What are you doing?
Especially your mom. You know what I mean? Like you feel like as a mother you should want whatever your kid wants.
Yeah.
I feel like that's generally what happens.
Yeah.
But she sees what Kim wants, and then she just goes and gets it for herself.
Yeah, and as financially well off as this family is, and as close as they are, you think if Kim buys this apartment, she's never going to let you stay there. If Kim buys the apartment, Kris, you can come over pretty much whenever you want because Kim owes you because Kim's been staying in your house.
Exactly.
So,
and that was the weirdest part to me is that when Kim confronted her about it, or not really confronted her, but when Kris found out about it, Kris was like, I wanted to surprise you, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, she should have known that Kim was going to be really upset about it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And I love how the assistant, or maybe it was Malika, who left the envelope with Kim and was like, hey, this is for your mom. She's not around. Okay, yeah, sure it was. Sure it was.
That's the producer going, here, Malika, take this envelope over to Kim.
I know. It's just, and that's our biggest gripe, is it's just getting lazy. Not that it's always been lazy.
Why would Malika have that?
I know. And it's always been lazy. We're talking about reality TV and we're talking about the Kardashians. This is not this is not Breaking Bad. Like this is not award-winning television.
Yeah.
At least not real award-winning television, but it's just getting lazier and lazier. I will say, if you've been following all season at home, guys, we've been bitching about every episode of this show. I thought this one was a little bit more interesting, and can I tell you why I think it was interesting?
Please tell me.
Kris Jenner has to be on more of these shows, for better or worse. As much as she screwed up this apartment thing, as bizarre as this whole boyfriend situation was with Jordan, which we'll get to in just a second, Kris, I think, innately understands, because she's been doing this for a long time, and she understands the business better than the girls do. You have to have Kris on the show to create some of these conflicts. When it's just Courtney and Khloé and Scott, you want to pull your hair out. It's not deep enough. It's not significant enough. And Kris comes, and they're dumb conflicts, but they're a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kris and Kim have made the show entertaining, and this is Khloé and Kourtney show. So, I mean, there you have it.
There you have it. We need more Kris and Kim.
But we have to have Scott, too. I mean,
for sure.
Scott's comments this episode were my favorite part.
For sure. Quote, "If you lose your butts, we lose all our money." Hey, engineer Scott Disick, could you do that line for us again?
If you lose your butts, you're going to... No, I'm just kidding.
No,
if you lose your butts, you're going to lose all your money.
That sounds...
Our money. I love how he said our money.
Stephen Lemieux in the engineering booth sounds a lot like Scott Disick. Seriously.
Our resident Scott Disick.
Yeah, our resident Lord Disick. May the Lord be with you, Stephen. Okay, let's talk about... Let's talk about our third and final topic. We obviously got a lot of news to talk about with Kourtney's baby. We're not going anywhere yet. But as we get into our third and final topic, remember on Twitter, use the hashtag ABTVKKTH, and we're going to check that all night too. So if you're watching the show, not live streaming, because we know it's late on the East Coast, and if you're going to watch it overnight or tomorrow, like a lot of you do anyways, you can always comment on YouTube, and if you're going to tweet us, use that hashtag ABTVKKTH. Sterling and I will be on Twitter all week long, something tells me.
Call me, tweet me if you want to reach me.
Okay, great. Let's move on to Kris's new boyfriend. They're getting engaged. They bought a house to be... I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait a second. No, we're watching the same show.
Let's talk about Jordan, the celebrity chef. First things first.
Cook.
First things first. And I'm just curious about this because I got a little push. Is Jordan straight?
I mean, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say in a lot of Hollywood.
He didn't really say much of anything. We don't really know.
He's well put together.
Yeah.
Good looking guy.
Yeah.
Smooth, clean, all sorts of whatever.
There can be straight guys who are good looking.
100%. I'm not saying that.
Together.
I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is I just got just the slightest vibe from it.
Yeah.
Just a little. I don't know.
The vibe I got was more like Guido-y.
There was a little Guido-y.
Than it was gay. But I mean, who knows? I'm sure he loved the opportunity to be on the show, first of all, but also to be
in Kris's bed.
He played along with it because he's so excited.
Sterling, I'm going to tell you something. It has to remain between you and I. Don't you dare tell anybody.
Okay. Secret safe with me.
I hope nobody ever finds out about this. I would not turn down Kris Jenner if she asked me to jump into bed.
Are you sure?
100%.
Do you want to consider that for a moment?
I'll put it out there right now, whether it's a prank on the girls or whatever else.
I will have sex with Kris Jenner for a prank only.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's never going to happen. Kris is not going to contact me tomorrow after watching this.
Should we start a hashtag?
I'm pretty sure.
Get Bobby with Kris or Bobby wants Kris.
Bobby's riding dirty.
Yeah.
No,
Kris.
I think the chances of this are 1 in infinity. It's never going to happen, but I wouldn't turn her down. So Jordan, Godspeed, good luck. Whatever her boyfriend's name is, you said she had a boyfriend?
Yep, Corey.
He has a name?
Corey Gamble.
Corey Campbell. Corey?
Gamble.
Mm-hmm. Corey Gamble, good for you.
He works with Scooter Braun, who manages
with Bieber.
Justin Bieber, and I'm not really sure what it is.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Side note, let's take a small left turn for this.
Yeah. Here's something interesting. Let's talk about that.
Let's get off of me. This is the beauty of Kris Jenner. She not only has a boyfriend, maybe it's physical, maybe it's romance, who knows, whatever. Hope she's happy. But it's definitely kind of strategic too, right?
Yeah.
Because is Kylie or Kendall or somebody maybe going to release an album later? Wasn't there talks of Kylie releasing some kind of single or an album?
Really?
Yes.
Well, Kim did that back in the day.
And it didn't work. But now Kris is aligning herself with Scooter Braun's a hit maker.
Yeah.
I will reserve my opinion on Justin Bieber because it's not called for in this show. I'm not going to tell you what I really think about him. But Scooter Braun is a manager. He knows what he's doing.
It's true.
So Kris aligning herself with that team. We might see the Kardashians for a long time to come.
Yeah, seriously. Good God.
That's a scary thought. That is a scary thought. Reality TV, fine, whatever. You know, we'll always be here.
Our grandkids are going to be watching
music.
Penelope's show.
Yeah, who knows? Anyways, okay, so back to Kris and Jordan, her fake boyfriend. Of course, Jonathan has to come over.
His hair. Can we talk about that for a second? He must get it permanently straightened or flattened.
Let me say this about him. He is a unique looking person. He is unique. Do you
think he is always the leak, though, for the Kardashian?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he is the mole. I think when stuff gets out, when sources say whatever it is, I think Jonathan is probably the leak.
I think a lot of times when it says a close source or whatever, it's Kris.
Yeah.
So.
Or let me rephrase maybe. Jonathan is the leak, and he's been told to leak the information.
Yeah, probably.
I just have a feeling Jonathan seems like such a busybody in all ways. He showed it today with Jordan being the busybody. Hey, Kris wants a glass of wine. Better go upstairs. I think he probably
was a good plan, though.
Oh, for sure.
And then to get on the boat and leave.
But he has the right attitude to do it. I think he's got the stomach for it. I think he is the leak, and I think him and Kim have been friends for so long, for better or worse, that he would have to do a lot to ruin that friendship. It's almost family. Yeah. On some level. And I'm not saying he couldn't ruin it, and I'm not saying he wouldn't do something Kim wouldn't forgive him for, but they're in very close, very deep for a long time.
Yeah. And Kim even said this episode, she said she loves Jonathan because he would do whatever.
Yeah.
And he obviously wants the attention. He doesn't mind it, whether it's negative or positive. So I think that's why she keeps him around.
He just seems like such a hanger-on to me, and that's not necessarily
really
a dig at him. It's just a dig at people who hang around celebrities.
Yeah.
Him and Malika, and I'm a little suspicious of people like this to be like.
Are you suspicious of Malika?
I don't know, because I understand that they're friends before they got really famous in both Jonathan and Malika's case.
Yeah.
But from my perspective watching, it just seems like hangers on. And maybe I'm totally wrong about that, but that is my opinion. Stir, when we get famous, you and I, we're going to have to be very careful of people like that.
You better not be a hanger-on.
No, you better not be a hanger-on.
Oh, you mean other people?
Other people, yeah. We're just going to have to be really careful with people like that. I don't want to have no Jonathan in our lives.
Oh my God, that would never happen.
Yeah, we don't need a mole. We don't need a leak. But he did do a good job with the wine. And then Jordan, and we knew this was going to happen, but the girls didn't. Jordan and Kris played him right back with the whole in bed, Kris saying that's the best I've ever had. Wow, I can't stop sweating.
Yeah, but the thing is them being in bed, literally, they didn't have to be in bed. The door was closed. They could have just been standing there.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were under the covers, in bed, and doing all of the, sexual noises and everything, that's definitely very flirty.
Oh, yeah.
So at least she was getting a little action that way.
I said earlier I wouldn't turn down Kris Jenner, but you mean to tell me Kris Jenner is not going to turn down a good-looking younger guy either if the situation's
right. She had the eyes a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
She was giving him the eyes.
For sure, absolutely. What are those eyes?
I feel like I don't want to do it.
You just know, and
I can see that she was doing the eyes. I can't actually do the eyes.
Okay, well, it's. I think it's an older woman thing. So give yourself another 35, 40 years. Try. You'll get there. Mm-hmm. 4 decades from now, we'll check in with you on the eyes.
Yeah, stay tuned.
But and look, there's nothing. I think it would be awesome for Kris to have a fling like that if she hasn't already, or if this Corey Gamble isn't a fling or whatever. When you have that much of an age difference, you have to be honest with each other, and you have to be honest with the people around you. Whether you say it or not, you need to know it. You, as a 59-year-old, are not going to marry a 25 or 30-year-old. You're probably not. And if you are, the physical aspect of it is so much greater than in a quote-unquote normal relationship. That doesn't make it wrong. Go for it. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But the love, you can't, I don't think you can be in love the same way. I don't think you can have a quote-unquote soulmate in the same way. You probably still can have something very deep, but it's not going to be that same kind of thing because it's all about being in the same station in life.
Right.
And Kris and Jordan in the show, or Corey right now, they're not in the same station in life. They can still get along. They can still have a cool relationship, whatever they want. I'm sure they can work it out. But there's something to be said for struggling or being in whatever in the same station in life, if you right now, as you try to make it in Hollywood, not to make this about you, but this is kind of the point, is you try to make it out of school, figuring out life in your 20s, if you started dating a 60-year-old guy who's rich, maybe you like him, maybe it's a great relationship, but there's always going to be a slight disconnect because he's already made it, he's established, he's on the other end, and you're like, man, I have these hopes and dreams and I want to make it, and you're never going to match up there.
Yeah. Are you dating a 60-year-old, Bobby? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, breaking news.
Yeah.
No, I'm certainly
and
not.
Kris has talked about in the past that Robert Kardashian was the love of her life, and Bruce kind of knew that, but they still had a great marriage for what it was while it lasted. And I don't know. I mean, Kris is almost 60 years old. Not that she can't get married again, but it's kind of what she wants to do with that. If she's just having fun right now, if she's looking to get married again, or if she's just looking for someone to spend the rest of her life with and not get married. So, it could go either way, and it's really just whatever makes her the happiest. Yeah,
and I'm all for her having fun right now and finding somebody to have fun with, whether it's a 60-year-old or a 20-year-old. I know
maybe not a 20-year-old.
I know that's a little young, and it might be awkward for her kids. And I think that's another thing you have to think about. If she has a great connection with whomever, and they're young, cool. But you can't just ignorantly go into that thinking it's just about you two. When you're 20 and you start dating somebody, it is just
20.
about you two.
Or Kendall is 20?
Kendall's like 18.
Oh, 18.
But when you're our age and you start dating somebody,
19.
it is just about you. When you're 60 and you have lots of kids, it's no longer just about you, and you're ignorant to think that it is. So anything that she does with that, it sort of has to kind of be approved by the kids, I would think.
Yeah.
Because she spends so much time around the kids, her life is intertwined with the kids. If you're going to bring in a 25 or 30-year-old to that situation with your kids, you better make sure everything's smooth.
Well, they definitely didn't seem to care when they brought in this really young chef. So, I mean, I think they have a different understanding.
He was just for the day, though.
Yeah, not for a lifetime.
I want to see more Kris with Corey Gamble, with this guy, this 33-year-old. I want to see him on some of these shows.
I know. I don't really know exactly when their relationship started, so I don't know if it's included on this. But if there will be a next season of Kardashians, then I'm sure it'd be on there.
I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see. I want to get in. I want to get.
I want to see him and Bruce interacting.
I think Bruce will be totally cool. Bruce is like, you can deal with her.
Yeah, you can have her. Take her.
Take her, please. Leave me alone. Let me go to Malibu and be on my own. I want to see Corey Gamble come on the show because that'll bring Scooter Braun. And then I want to see Scooter Braun because that'll bring Bieber. And then Bieber and Kendall Jenner will fall in love. And you've got a new Kardashian super couple.
Yeah. Well, there were those rumors about them, but I don't think that that's actually a thing.
I hope it's not, actually. I don't want to see any Bieber on the show.
And I really like Kendall, so I don't want her to date Bieber.
Yeah, Kendall and Kylie, they're doing a little bit better than the other girls.
I just can't deal with Kylie's lips.
Really?
Yeah, because she shouldn't be getting.
I like everything about Kylie.
Done.
I like the hair. I like her kind of like counterculture look.
I mean, I like her look, but I just think, she's 16 or 17 or whatever, but she's getting her lips done and they're just way overboard. I mean, I check her Instagram out and I just can't stop looking at her lips.
Welcome to Hollywood. Welcome to Beverly Hills or Calabasas, as it were.
I wonder what Bruce thinks about that, about her getting all that
Bruce
done.
has absolutely no room to talk because Bruce has been under the knife 1,000 times.
Yeah, but he's not a teenager.
No, he's not. But when you go under the knife, how do you tell your teenager, hey, it's wrong to get work done?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, she's underage or whatever now, but if she turned 18 and did the same thing, you couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
How could you say anything?
Anyway, that's just something I was thinking about.
I didn't think we'd get on the topic of Bruce's plastic surgery today, but we did. That's cool. All right, let's move on to before we do predictions, let's do a little bit of news and gossip.
Oh yeah. Congratulations.
Seriously.
TV news.
So Courtney had her little baby. And it's also, it's a boy, and it's Mason's 5th birthday today, so they're going to have the same birthday, which at first I thought was really cute, but then now I'm thinking Mason's going to hate that growing up. The younger boy's now going to hate that. They're going to have the same birthday, and it's really close to Christmas. I feel like that's,
Wait a minute.
So many shines are being,
you're looking at this from a normal person perspective, because we have budgets, Sterling.
Right.
When we give gifts, we have budgets.
Yeah, I guess their birthday presents and their Christmas presents wouldn't be combined anyway.
Exactly.
They're going to have a Coachella as a birthday party.
I'll tell you what is cool about Mason and the new baby, which they haven't announced the name yet.
Yeah.
Mason and the new boy having the same birthday. What's going to be cool is my brother and I were born 2 weeks apart, right around Memorial Day. And what we would do in a normal family with a normal budget, we would invite the entire family over, my parents would, on Memorial Day, and we would have a joint birthday party with my brother and I, which was awesome because you get to see everybody, you get a ton of gifts. We played outside the whole time because it's summer. So eventually, when the kids get a little bit older,
they'll appreciate it.
They'll definitely do something like that and have a huge shindig for both of them. So that will be cool. And they won't be on a budget, so the kids are going to get whatever the heck they want.
What are the chances that they are born on the same exact day? I find that very interesting.
Well, let's go backwards 9 months. So you're born December, 13th or whatever. So the baby's conceived in mid-March. Is mid-March significant to Scott and Courtney? Do we know if there's an anniversary or something around there?
I have no idea.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
That would be something to look up.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Siri later. Anyhow.
Now you're going to do that on your own birthday based on when you were born. Go back 9 months and find out when
Wait a second. What was happening then?
way back in, 1992 or whatever.
April. What's happening in April? What are some holidays? Well, March. What's happening in March? What are some holidays?
Well, not Valentine's Day. That would be the obvious one in February. I don't know what would happen in March. It would have to be an anniversary or maybe something relatively unplanned.
We'll look it up.
We'll
get back to you guys. Anyway, what's next? Predictions?
All right, you want to get off that right away. Let's move on to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Stir. What do you want to predict?
Where's Frankie? I need her to start with predictions.
I know we do. We're missing Frankie today.
And Bessie.
Where do we start with our predictions? And again, as we always do on Kardashians, you can either predict based on the episodes of the show or in real time.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm thinking. Sorry if it's just the two of us. Usually have a moment just to collect. So what was happening on the promo for next week?
Well, I think there was some sort of a cross-dressing... there was like some sort of a show, like a fashion show, but it looked like...
Oh yeah, what was that?
It looked like men in women's clothing. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Something about that looked a little
I think it was
different.
like a drag show.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun.
I'm very interested to know what happened with the Lord and the Lady podcast, and if we'll see more of that this season. Because it seems like it was entertaining. I don't know.
I want to see what happens when Courtney blew up at Scott. We saw on the Coming Attractions, the previews. First off,
Coming Attractions.
We're not going to call it Coming Attractions because that would give the Kardashians too much credit.
Right.
It's the teaser. We saw in the teaser that she gets mad at him and he storms off. They're both irritable. One of the bad things about going to the Hamptons, and Khloe mentioned it, there's not a lot to do in the Hamptons. So you're going to get on each other's nerves a lot. When you stick each other in the same house with kids, with nothing to do for an entire summer, and Courtney's already pregnant, so she's irritable naturally because she just doesn't feel good, she doesn't look good, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You're going to get on each other's nerves, so stuff like this happens, and it gets blown way up out of proportion, and I think we're going to see the same thing next week.
Yeah, and I want to know if Khloe went back to horseback riding or not, so that we know who was in the delivery room.
I have a feeling no matter what Scott says or does,
the whole family was there.
100% the whole family was in the delivery room.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that on Kardashians. If there's a next season, is there just a next season?
I'm sure there's gonna. These Kardashians won't die.
How many seasons do we have left?
Well, they're respawning another generation with Mason and Penelope and North and now whatever this baby is.
So it's gonna be like Kardashians season 49 before we know it.
We're gonna be old and gray talking about Kardashians here on AfterBuzz
TV. Like in our rockers. Today, Mason went to the club.
Today on December 6th, 2031, we've got brand new news about Mason driving a car.
All right, it's crazy.
Believe me, it's coming.
It is. Right.
I don't have any predictions. This show doesn't die. These people don't die. They don't.
No one's gonna die. I hope, because they're real.
It's not a prediction. It's just a prayer. I want to see Bruce. I want to see Bruce. We're gonna see a daughter of a friend next week.
Oh yeah, that's what was happening. They had her cleaning the boat.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
I want to see Bruce.
Right.
Bring Bruce.
He's on the phone, so it's kind of he's getting there.
Yeah, that's true. He does make a phone call. Yeah. Maybe the week after that he'll be back. If we see Bruce, I'll just go crazy.
All right. I look forward to seeing that.
All right, guys, that's it this week on Courtney and Khloé Take the Hamptons. Right here on AfterBuzz TV. Remember, if you're just joining us or you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, hashtag ABTVKKTH. You can tweet us really all week long, and we'll use that hashtag from here out going forward. So whenever you want to use that, tweet us. Speaking of tweets, though, Sterling, if they wanted to tweet you because you were just so wonderful,
please tweet me.
Where can our wonderful viewers find you on, I don't know, Twitter or Instagram?
You can find me at Sterling Cates.
On everything.
On everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah, no, everything.
I'm at Bobby DeMuro on Twitter, at Mr. Bobby DeMuro on Instagram. Frankie and Jesse will be back next week, I hope. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, wherever you guys are. That's coming up. And it doesn't feel like it here in LA because it's sunny, but it's snowing in a lot of places around the country, so we hope you guys are having a great holiday season. We will see you a week from today on Kourtney and Khloé Take the Hamptons. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.